A new MMORPG was just announced, and usually I'm a bit skeptical about these things because I've been burned so many times by bad MMORPGs made by greedy companies, all that stuff. But this one is a little different, right? Because this game is being made by a brand new company that's owned by the creator of RuneScape himself, Andrew Gower. Yes, the man is back ready to make a new game, and honestly, a lot of people are very excited about this because RuneScape itself is such a core part, such a core element of so many people's childhoods, it's such a key point of nostalgia. So the fact that the creator's coming back to make a new game, obviously people are just going crazy about it. But to give a quick point of clarification here, this is a brand new company that Andrew Gower made. This has nothing to do with RuneScape. RuneScape is owned by Jagex, which is, their former company, but now Jagex is owned by investment firms. I feel like I don't really know who owns it at the moment. They keep buying and selling the company. It goes through so many owners, but the fact is that this is an entirely separate entity. And based on how it looks to be almost like a spiritual successor of RuneScape, right? You can definitely see the aesthetic choices that make it, very unique to Andrew Gower himself. And the reason I think this is such a big deal is because while RuneScape is extremely popular, right? It's one of the most biggest MMORPGs that's been around for over 20 years. And if you go to the website right now, there's over 100,000 people currently playing. For a game that's been out for that long, to still have so many players and for the fan base to be so dedicated, it's huge. That's an achievement. But at the same time, it feels like RuneScape is the type of game that doesn't really get new players. Either you grew up playing RuneScape and that's the reason you still play it, or you're hearing about it now and you don't care about it, right? That's just the way RuneScape's always been. People who played the game growing up really love this game, and people from the outside just don't really understand why. So the fact that there's a brand new game being made by the creator of RuneScape really just opens up the possibility of exposing a brand new audience to the medieval style point-and-click MMORPG genre. So let's talk about the game itself. Brighter Shores. The game has a pretty interesting name, but the game comes with an ongoing story with hundreds of hours of gameplay. The cool thing about it is it's just an MMORPG, right? You can always just keep expanding on it and adding new chapters and adding new content to it. And from what you can see on the page and the trailer, there's a big number of professions you can take, like fisher, forager, chef, woodcutter, miner, a bunch of variety, which is something that RuneScape is commonly known for. So I'm not trying to compare the two games here, but you can't help but see all the similarities. I mean, they are made by the same person after all. So something else to notice here is that you have the different combat classes. You have a Cryo Knight, you have a Guardian, and you have a Hammer Mage. And you Hammer Mage, who decided to give mages hammers? I don't know. But, if it's anything like how RuneScape is, I'm guessing this will be a combat triangle, right? You have the melee, you have the ranged, and then you have the mage. And one of my favorite features about the game that Andrew already confirmed on his Twitter is that yes, the game is an MMORPG, so there's other players there, you can trade with them, I'm pretty sure you can fight with them, there's all those MMORPG elements, but you can also enjoy the game by yourself. So even if you're a complete total loner with no friends, chances are you can have a complete gameplay experience. It's an MMORPG, but doesn't rely on other players to be fun. I have been alpha testing it on my own, and it's still very enjoyable. So you can have a complete gameplay experience if you want to play with other players, or if you just want to go like the Iron Man mode and you just rely on yourself, that's also an option too, and it will still be very enjoyable. According to what he says, game hasn't come out yet, I'm just speculating here. So that's actually something I can really appreciate here, because not everyone likes to play with other players, but they still want to play the game itself. And taking a look at the character models of Brighter Shores, you can definitely tell that they look like RuneScape 3 characters, right? I'm sorry to disappoint all the old school RuneScape players, but we're not getting that old school look, but it's not the worst thing in the world. But the characters look fine, the game looks good, but something I definitely noticed about the game, and if you just take a quick look at it, it's blatantly obvious here. The entire map is grid-based. There's different tiles where your character can exist on and where things just exist. And for a point-and-click MMORPG like RuneScape, and just like Brighter Shores, it makes absolute sense, because even RuneScape, which tries to mask the tiles or hide them, still has them present, So the fact that they're choosing to not only have the tile functions, but also highlight them as part of the aesthetic, I can appreciate that, right? I look at them and I'm like, damn, that's actually pretty cool. It looks nice. And again, I'm trying really hard not to compare Brighter Shores with RuneScape, but when they're both made by the same person, you can't help but see all the similarities here, let's be honest. And something that I think is worth talking about is that RuneScape has always been plagued with bots. Bots have always been an issue in RuneScape, and they're the ones responsible for the way that the in-game economy has been operating, right? Because they're farming all the resources. Some of them are even as complex and advanced enough to be able to fight bosses by themselves. And Andrew has already stated that he tried to design the game from the ground up such that bots shouldn't ruin the economy/game. So that's actually a bit bit of good news there. There's also going to be a closed beta available, so if you're interested in that, if you're a RuneScape aficionado and you just want to see what this game ends up being, then my suggestion, probably just go wishlist the game on Steam and make sure you follow Andrew on his Twitter, because it says I will post more about it on X/Twitter closer to the time. So I'm definitely going to be keeping tracks of that. And I just really hope that this game doesn't end up being a case like Mighty No. 9. So anyone that doesn't know about Mighty No. 9, it is the spiritual successor of Mega Man, right? So Mega Man, owned by Capcom. Capcom eventually just decided to just stop releasing Mega Man games altogether. And the creator of Mega Man, I forgot his name. What was his name again? Keiji Inafune, that's his name. So he decided to go like, you know what? You guys are not releasing Mega Man games. I'll just make my own spiritual successor. So he started a Kickstarter to create Mighty No. 9, which is supposed to be basically Mega Man, but with a different character. And unfortunately, that ended up being such a huge disappointment, despite the fact that so many people were excited about it, just because, you know, yes, it was basically like Mega Man, but it just didn't really have that impact, that staying power that Mega Man has. So I'm really hoping that Brighter Shores is not just a speckle of dust in the everlasting stream of video games that get released every single day. I really hope that this has some staying power, right? And, you know, I guess we'll just have to wait and see when it's released. But I know that for sure I'm going to be playing the game. I'm going to check it out. This definitely looks like my kind of game as a kid who started playing RuneScape back when he was like 13, 14, I don't remember. So yeah, I'll definitely be giving it a shot when it comes out later this year. Are you guys interested too? Let me know in the comments or something. But yeah, that's all I really want to talk about with you guys today. I hope we get to see some new updates soon. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.